Milton, and welcome back to Protein Power. This is the show I run for you every Monday where I'm teaching you how to take control and power of your nutrition. We're going to cover all different things in nutrition here, fat loss, macros, everything else. And today we're going to talk about when flexible dieting can become a problem for you. Alright, please make sure you do me a favor. Please make sure you share, you subscribe, you give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment if you get anything out of it. I appreciate it so much. And remember, this is just one of the 5 awesome shows I'm running all week for you. So when you subscribe, you're not just subscribing for this. You're going to get a lot of awesome content out of it. Alright, right out the gate, what I want to talk about is when flexible dieting can become a problem for you. And I know right away a lot of you are thinking, hey, what are you talking about, Coach Ryan, man? I know that a lot of your competitors are eating candy and donuts and stuff on prep. I know a lot of your weight loss clients are doing flexible dieting. I know you're a huge advocate of flexible dieting. You put damn donuts on a shirt. You're right, I do, and I am a huge advocate of flexible dieting. I think it's very, very beneficial. But I'm going to tell you straight up, too, the honest truth about flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, macro tracking in general, is that if you make poor food choices more than you make good ones, you're going to get poor results, all right? And what I'm saying about this is I always talk about that 80-20 rule, okay? The 80% of your food should be good, wholesome foods. This is what I call the parent foods, okay? This is the ones where you're a damn adult. You know you shouldn't be eating like a kid. You gotta parent yourself and tell yourself, hey, macaroni's actually not a vegetable. Things like that, right? And then there's the 20% of foods where guess what? These are your fun foods. These are your flexible foods. This is your candy, your ice cream, your pizza, your whatever. The point is, I talk about this 80-20 as the way that you should break down your food. What happens to a lot of people that say flexible dieting and if it fits your macros and things like that doesn't work for them is they go instead 20-80. They're going 20% of the food is good food and 80% of it is this other junk food. And that will not work for you in the long term. Let me say it again. It will not work for you in the long term. And I know a lot of you are going to say, hey, what about the fact that, hey, protein's a protein, a carb, and fat's a fat? It is, and it's true, and all that comes into play. But if you're doing this the other way, okay, we're not just talking about macros. We're talking about micros too. So if you're supposed to be doing 80% of these wholesome foods, you know, where you're going to get a ton of antioxidants, you're going to get a ton of minerals, you're going to get a ton of vitamins, you're going to get a ton of dietary fiber and other things that are coming from these things, that's going to change your body too. That's going to influence your body just as much as if you were doing the opposite. If you're doing 20% of those, you're doing 80% of this stuff that's processed, it's got crazy weird macros, you know, high fat, high carbs. It doesn't have the antioxidants, doesn't have the nutrients, it's highly processed foods. Well, guess what's going to happen to your body? Because at the end of the day, we are talking about longevity. We're talking about health. We're talking about health and wellness. We're talking about aesthetics as also being healthy on the inside, okay? So while you might be able to do a straight if it fits your macros approach, which is not what I suggest, where people basically, you know, they're just eating whatever they can fit in your macros. I know I've seen people online that literally are like, hey, I'm only eating pizza today and I fit 3 slices into my macros and I'm feeling great. And that's, you know, whatever, that's short-lived. Yeah, you can lose weight. Yeah, you could get a 6-pack. Yeah, you might be lean and whatever, but at the end of the day, your health and wellness will deteriorate over time. Over time, you're going to get digestive issues. Over time, you might have some other problems. You know, other things can come up where you get joint aches, you have pains, you have all sorts of stuff, not to mention you can actually get some diseases from doing things like that. So you want to make sure when it comes to your nutrition that you always have this 80-20 split and you don't have the opposite. You don't have the 20% good wholesome food and the 80% is actually your flexible dieting, your bad food, okay? And so this is where it can become a huge problem for a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can break it down to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Now, the thing most people do that absolutely sets you up for failure with macro tracking is you fail to track your macros in advance, okay? And what I'm saying is, yeah, some of you could go through the day. Some of you might say, okay, here's my macro goals. I'm just going to go through the day. I'm going to see what happens. Maybe I'll have lunch at work today. I don't know what I want for dinner yet, so we'll see. And a lot of times that's when you catch yourself in the problem of now you're in the 20% of your food was good. Maybe you had some eggs for breakfast, and then you had, you know, a burger for lunch and pizza for dinner. And even though you might be hitting your macros, you're not getting the benefits of the micros and the minerals and the other things you need to to be healthy and also get your best physique and results. Okay, so you gotta understand that planning in advance can actually flip that coin for you. For example, if you sit down the night before, and I've said this in other videos before, I know some of my coaches are saying the same stuff, this is important stuff, pay attention to it. If you sit down the night before, and you sit down with your macros and you say, okay, tomorrow, what am I going to have for lunch? Well, maybe I'll have that. I'll bring that to work. That'll be good. And then, breakfast, I'll probably have this. Dinner, I'm going to have this dinner. I'm going to make this chicken with some potatoes. And then, after, maybe I'll throw in that 20%er and, have some ice cream. Have a little donut. Have something, sweet, whatever. And the whole thing is now you set your day up for success. You hit that 80% of those good, wholesome foods because you picked your eggs, you had your lunch, and you had your dinner chicken. And now you want to throw in something else cool. Throw it in. You have a little bit there. You got some room in your macros for a little cheat, a little treat. Absolutely. Get it in, fit it in, and guess what? You're going to get great results. You're going to feel good. You're going to look good. And you're going to have good, better for sure amounts of health and wellness going on in your body, okay? Because you're going to get a lot of the benefits of the vitamins, the minerals, the nutrients, the macros, and the micros from all these good, wholesome foods, as well as you got a treat for your mental ability. I mean, let's be honest, any of these treats and things, they're not actually beneficial to you nutritionally whatsoever, but they are beneficial to a lot of people mentally. They are beneficial to a lot of people for consistency. They are beneficial to a lot of people for just overall being able to stay on track with their diet and live a healthier lifestyle. So with that, they do serve their purpose, but there should absolutely never be any question. Let me say this again. When it comes to flexible dieting, there should absolutely never be any question that wholesome food, like a piece of chicken, a lean meat, any of your vegetables, any of that, none of that will ever be replaced by eating a donut, having ice cream, having a slice of pizza, okay? There should never be a question about this. You can't just fit these things and expect that to be a good swap. At the end of the day, can you have both? Can you have them? Yeah, absolutely. If you have the balance, for me, that's the 80-20. That's what I suggest to my clients, but sometimes I'll tell you straight up, I move people to 90-10. I say, you know what, you need actually more good healthy foods, and then you can have a treat less often. Or some people I say, you know what, maybe you do all the days actually where you're having 5 days a week, it's all these good healthy wholesome foods, and then on a Saturday you have a cheat meal, one meal, not every day. So it all depends. You can fit both. Whatever works for you and it's going to get you the most consistency with your nutrition is going to be what gets you the result. But you can't only focus on the aesthetic. You can't only focus on what's on the outside. You can't just say, well, I look good, I got abs, I'm eating donuts every day, so I'm going to keep doing that. You got to also think about what's on the internal, what's on the inside of your body, what's going on. Is your digestive system working properly, right? Are you getting signs from your body that, hey, things are not going good here? A lot of different stuff can be caused from your nutrition, dare I say, everything. So if you're having experiences and you're feeling different ways, if you're tired, you're fatigued, whatever, you really got to start looking at your diet and see, maybe you've been doing it wrong. Maybe you've been doing the 80% of your food was the junk foods and the 20% was the good foods, and you actually need to flip that coin. You need to rework that. You need to get the result that's going to be best for you both externally and internally, and that's what I always say. And I know that I'm rambling a lot about the macros here and talking a lot about this and flexible dieting and probably blowing your mind right now. And if you want help, go to my website, TeamFFLEX.com, and subscribe to our free trial. Me or one of my coaches will set you up, show you exactly what we're talking about with your macros, how to get this balance right, how to actually put these in there, how to get that flexible dieting right. And it is not as easy as it sounds for a lot of people. A lot of people do struggle with this. It takes a lot of people a long time to figure their macros out. Even people that have been doing it a while, sometimes they find themselves caught into that percentage where they're doing it wrong. I know I have, I'll be honest with you. There's definitely been times in my macro tracking life, which I've been tracking macros now for so long, it's crazy, probably almost, I don't even know, 10, 12 years could be. It's crazy. I've been tracking macros forever, and I'll tell you straight up, there's been plenty of times where I found myself trying to sneak in more burritos, sneak in some more pizza at the jeopardization of getting actual good wholesome nutrients that I need to perform my best. And eventually, even though I might be able to pull it off, even though you might be able to pull it off for a couple amount of months, maybe a year even or two, but the point is it won't last. You'll start to feel the deteriorating factors, having digestive problems, having other things going on, you can develop all sorts of things from poor nutritional practices and missing out on the macros, the micros, the minerals, the antioxidants, the other things that you need that you can only get in these wholesome foods, okay? Let me say it one more time for you. Go to TeamFFLEX.com, subscribe to our trial right now, and we'll get you set up. It's free. If you're serious about nutrition, if you're serious about getting your best result, you will absolutely do this because it will be worth it. And let me say this again, please, fam, please understand the 80-20 does not become the 20-80. Understand that a donut will never exceed the nutrition of a good, wholesome, healthy food. You have to understand that with your flexible foods, your burritos, your donuts, your pizzas, your ice creams, your cookies, your treats, your flexible, cheap, whatever kind of foods you want to call it. Their nutritional value, even though it is there, even though it's there in the form of macros, it's not normally there in the form of micros, and it will never ever perform better for you and your body. You get results, you externally or you internally, than a good, wholesome, healthy food is. In fact, if you want a list of these, again, I'll give you a list of the whole kind of, the stuff I suggest for the 80% foods. I send this out to all my clients, all of our athletes, everybody on TeamFFLEX gets a list of foods we suggest to start with to fill your macros, and I will send you that list if you go to TeamFFLEX.com right now and subscribe to the free trial. Thank you for watching Protein Power. I'm Ryan Milton. I'm going to be back right here tomorrow for the Iron Palace where we're talking about your training. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Coach Ryan is out.